Hello, awesome people. I hope you're having a great day today. Today we're taking a look at the 12-page short story in this collection from the dead by Edith Nesbit called In the Dark that was published more than 100 years ago. So I'll try to link you to this collection in the comments below in case you're interested in picking up as well as the free version. So that way you can go ahead and take a look at it. We've been doing a deep dive into Edith Nesbit's stuff recently, so I definitely have been enjoying the horror stuff in this stuff. The previous short story in this The Three Drugs was, I felt, more of a fantasy short story than horror, but this one we're getting back to the horror side of things. In fact, I think this is very much a call out to an Edgar Allan Poe style horror short story called The Telltale Heart, which we'll look at here in a little bit. So, but before we do that, let's go ahead and do my review for In the Dark for you folks. As a reminder, I keep my reviews spoiler free, so I won't be spending too much time doing a deep dive into this for you folks. But basically what wound up happening is in the first few pages you'll find out that our point of view characters are two people that were friends in school with a third person who also attended school with them too. Who's a little weird and a little off-putting. He knew things that he shouldn't know, and he just had no way of knowing them. He just when they asked him, he would say he guessed, and he was very weird with them that these two people knew. The two people have grown apart, are the two friends, so they are now going to get reunited, and then that reunification is going to lead to a dark secret being told by the other one as to what's been happening in the previous things, and then that dark secret will lead to some revelations and some bad things that are going to wind up happening as a result. So that's the short story, sort of contextually and so forth. You'll find out those things in the first few first few pages rather, of the 12-page short story, and then I'll just go ahead and leave you to it. I liked it. I thought this was a lot of fun. I liked the ending. A lot of fun things happened, and so I'm giving this a strong an 8 minus, like a 7.88 or 7.7. Then I'm running up to an 8 proper. This was definitely strong. Again, it was in the style of an Edgar Allan Poe horror short story, which I appreciated. And again, I think that this is a call out to the Telltale Heart, which is a short story in which somebody does something bad and evil, and then their conscience hits them up, and then they make some flaws as a result. And so I think that is definitely something that is in the similar vein here in this short story as well. So it reminded me of the Telltale Heart when I was reading it. So if you go ahead and read it, check it out. Let me know if you see that too, or if you've already read it. And so we can do that too. So Edith Nesbit was heavily published during her time in the pulp era. She wrote for decades, and she published more than 60 novels, mostly children's novels in the fantasy genre. We read one for you recently for you folks, which I was glad I read and I enjoyed, but it just didn't make me feel like I was going to be the jumping off point for reading a bunch more of her things, which I was hoping to do. So instead I picked up this horror collection for you folks from the dead, and now we're about halfway through it. It's oversized printing for you folks. It was published a few years ago, edited by S.T. Joshi, a big name in the horror genre, who's published edited a lot of big name writers like H.P. Lovecraft a few times, some Penguin classics in the horror genre, and so forth. So he's a big name in the horror field for you folks, in case you're interested in checking this out. So anyway, again, Edith Nesbit published a lot. She also published some things for adults in the pulp era. Horror, all this stuff is past its copyright date, so I'll try to find it for you for free online, so that way you don't have to spend the money if you just aren't that kind of a person, right? I like to read it in print, and also books are vulnerable. So if I drop it in the bathtub when I'm reading, I'm not going to lose any money. But if I drop my phone, that's a problem. So there's also that. Anyway, so I still like to read books, but there's no judgment here. However, you're going to enjoy it yourself. So anyway, as a reminder, this channel is named "The Worst Thing About New Books" is a quote by a French philosopher named Jacques Joubert, who said that the worst thing about new books was that they kept us from reading the old ones. In this case, a short story that was published more than 100 years ago is definitely an older work. So that's where my interest in this canon comes from. If you Have you read this? If so, what did you think about it? Let's talk about in the comments below whatever your thoughts are. You want to talk about spoilers, or you want to talk about the ending that I like? Let's do it too. If you enjoyed this, why not hit that subscribe button? There's going to be a lot more of these to follow. And then finally, I just want to thank you for taking some time out of your day and watching my video. We all have so many things that are happening in our lives, and we're pulled in so many different directions. So the fact that you spent this time with me is incredibly humbling, and I appreciate it. So thanks again, and have an amazing day.